Hello. Wow. People watching already. Well, per son. Sorry. Where is here? Hello. Are you experiencing either drought or wildfires or flooding? Because it seems to be going on everywhere. Either fires or flooding or drought. guess the fires go with the drought. And California knows a bit about drought too. Yeah, I don't think things are going to get any better either. It's just going to keep getting more and more extreme. Just one extreme followed by the next. No normalcy anymore. I used to be a wildland firefighter for a decade, so I know that stuff. Most people are oblivious to what's going on. It's far too late to reverse what's happening. Should have done this decades ago. It's pretty much locked in now, I think, our demise. But everything's going exponential, so it's really difficult to put a date on it. The deepest conspiracy is that of Maya. She's got everyone fooled. Even the people at the World Economic Forum. So the ones who are supposedly pulling the strings are dancing to Maya, who's pulling their strings because they don't know the deepest level of what's going on, of deception. This whole realm is a deception, if you will. Well, the people in power probably just don't, they just want to ignore it because all they care about is power. And then their people probably don't know much about it because it's limited what they can search for. So I think China's getting a good taste of it right now, in the real deal. There seems to be something to be said about personal karma and also because the ego's made up. Oh, just major flooding going on in China right now. Yeah, the CCP is an ego just as much as anyone's your name here, right? So the CCP, the communist, the Chinese Communist Party, is an ego, and it wants to look good to the rest of the world, the other countries, which are also egos. So it just is the CCP I'm talking about, and it just lies and deceives, and it doesn't care anything about the people of the country. It would rather sacrifice the people than it would look bad to other countries, other people around the world. So yeah, the CCP is an ego just as much as any individual person is an ego. And it's terrible, it's evil, it's a psychopath. And there's something to be said for that kind of karma too. But the karma of a country affects everyone in the country basically. Yeah, China's gone outside of what I would call natural law, and now they're really going to pay for it. Well, all of humanity is, but China especially. There's a lot of madness going on in the world. Insanity. I don't know. That's pretty vague. Just don't add anything onto your plate. Move towards simplicity, I would say, overall. Move towards stillness and simplicity. I've got a great balance of both. I've semi-retired and we're building a farm. So I've got things to do, but they're very simple things. Driving a tractor, digging in the dirt, stuff like that. Um, harvesting firewood. Study. Yeah, that's a tough one. When one truly comes to see what this realm is all about, it spirituality becomes the number one priority. So, yeah. I'm not one for giving very good life advice, not specific stuff anyway. The biggest thing, and this works for everyone because everyone has free time. So when you do have free time and you start getting bored, just meditate instead of trying to stimulate your way out of that boredom. So whenever you have spare time, instead of moving to entertainment, sit instead. And then ask yourself, like, if you're learning stuff and you're reading stuff or watching videos to learn something, ask yourself why. Why do you want to learn this? What is the goal? What is the purpose? If it's just for entertainment purposes, then I would say just drop everything that's entertaining because it's not fulfilling. It may temporarily be, like I say, entertaining and engaging, but the only thing that's really satisfying and fulfilling is I've found is the stillness, is being abiding as the thought-free state is self-fulfilling. There's nothing that can be done to make one happy because you are happiness. So it's almost a not doing. You have to stop doing things to find your happiness, your innate happiness. Hmm. It's very simple. Just find the stillness and get into it as deeply as possible, and that happiness will reveal itself. And I don't mean a high, like happiness is not a high because then it would need to go change and become a low. Happiness to me is perfect contentment, which is basically the mean, the medium. It's the natural state. Hey, hey, long time, my friend. No questions. Everybody knows everything they need to know anyway. Well, good try. I didn't quite get it, but yeah, that's true. We do like to talk, though, don't we? If I could get these scientists and mathematicians to realize that the reason why they're doing all of that is to just hear each other talk and affirm each other's existence through that exchange, it doesn't really matter what the information is. We could get somewhere. We could get here, not somewhere. They're trying to get somewhere. They're not getting here, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the biggest problem is that people don't understand the true purpose of thought itself. It's once you realize the reason, the purpose of thought and systems of thought, you just drop it all. It's all just distraction. It's not leading towards anything, it's leading away from self. Hmm. Like even if someone were to come up with a theory of everything that unifies quantum mechanics with gravity, well then what? How does that decrease the level of suffering within humanity and increase the level of happiness within humanity? It doesn't affect the subjective experience at all. Well, what's being expressed in and as the silence is the true teaching, and the blah 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 is supposed to lead to the silence. No, just die. Just learn to die. That's we're not learning to die. We keep wanting to be reborn. So we have to get used to the death part and not being born again. You are the awareness that abides even in dreamless sleep, where there is apparently nothing. Mm, be a light unto yourself. I think someone said that in the past. It's all within you. If you come across a teaching that sounds reasonable, then follow that and just that for a while. Yeah, pretty much. So my teaching leads to the transcendence of thought. So I'm just letting you know right now that. So the voice in your head, which is everything that you've learned, projects the illusion of a separately existing identity, right? So that's what projects the illusion, is that there's a these thoughts come up and they're real thoughts. So then you can attach that to an identity, right? I'm having these thoughts, but then that becomes you, right? That's actually the illusion that there's a separately existing your name here. So you have to let go of all of that. That's not you to do with you, not the true you, because the true exists in dreamless sleep and in death where there is no thoughts. But if you're attached to those thoughts and those beliefs, then that will make you come back and be born again because you don't know who you are yet. So that's the game, the continuation of the game. And fundamentalist Christians or whatever religion you want to pick, there it's the same thing for them, right? So the less you know who you are, what you are, then the more you'll rely on these beliefs. And the the religions that want to recruit have a high rate of that recruiting is a very important part of it, evangelism. Well, they think the guise is that they're helping other people, but what they're really doing is just getting more people to believe the things that they believe, because if everyone around you believes what you believe, then it makes it sound more plausible and real, right? So that's the only reason why they evangelize, is because they just want to keep the Ponzi scheme going. Yeah, everything you've learned projects your identity. Exactly. And none of it is actually correct. It's maybe correct in a relative way to another thought, but it's not leading to truth. It's not truth leading to reality. It's illusion leading to delusion. It's completely opposite, right? Like humanity has everything inverted. We believe that thought is truth, leading us to reality, or relating to reality. But thought is illusion, delusion relating to illusion, because all of this is illusion too. Like the physical realm is as unreal as the thought realm. So if the thought realm is relating to the physical realm, then it's just the Ponzi scheme, you see? If this whole world is illusion and thoughts are relating to this, aren't they? Then it's just a Ponzi scheme, see? Have you been to my website? So there's a when there's a it's called the fundamental model of reality, and that I think is the most succinct way of describing what's real. So what's real, we have it inverted. We have everything inverted. So what's real is dreamless sleep, basically. The real is what we take to be nothing, and the thing is actually the illusion. So again, we have a that's what materialism is, right? We take this to be real, and we take a state like dreamless sleep to be, I don't know, not real, or anything that isn't physical to be unreal. But in my model, the zero, which we cannot describe, it's not nothing, it's just nothing that we can describe. That's the reality. But you can't, it's not an experience, it's not a thought, you can't really describe it. It's, it has to be found in the thought free state. You have to get very, very deep into thought free awareness and very, very still. And then it'll become self evident. But it's really what's just, yeah. So if you can think it and you can see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, it's not real. So the experience isn't real, but that which is experiencing all of that is real. And that which is experiencing all this doesn't need any of this. So anything that changes isn't real, it goes away isn't real. Thanks for dropping by. I would have to go with Rupert. actually, because yeah, which they both have a different idea what the self is, I believe, right? I think Rupert is probably yeah, Rupert's right. Yeah, exactly. See, Tom never talks about he's just like oh, what's his name? Anyway, he talks about this being a dream, but he never talks about how to escape it, right? He talks about all these different layers and levels of consciousness and all this stuff and all these different experiences and stuff. And he recognizes that this isn't fundamental, I think, but he doesn't know how to get out of it, how to transcend it. I have spent a lot of time in solitude. I think it almost requires a lot of time in solitude because in the end, there's only you, right? And at death and after death, there'll only be you. Leo Gura. Yeah, yeah. Leo Gura? Anyway, he's the same as Campbell, right? Oh, there's infinite possibilities and you can manifest this and do all this, but in the end, he doesn't know that he's the absolute and he doesn't know how to get out of samsara. So that's not really spiritual at all. It's just more manifesting nonsense. Thank you for coming. I don't really have a problem with Rupert. He's just so his teaching is so soft, if you know what I mean. Antipathetic? I'm not sure what that word means. Can you elaborate? I would have just left it at pathetic. I don't know what that word means either. Yeah, I tried to make a couple of comments on his website there, and he blocked me. He just blocked me immediately. Yeah, well, I agree. He's the antithesis of a spiritual teacher, to be honest. Like, how can you talk for 7 hours with Kurt there on the TOE channel and not reach any conclusion? Just like maybe come on. I think he came on for a second one. Like, how can anyone talk for 7 hours and not come up with a conclusion? It's nuts. It's like that guy, that show, Closer to Truth, that's been on for 22 seasons, and he's given hundreds of interviews, and yet somehow he thinks he's getting closer to truth. It's like, okay, well, run it by me then. What is your theory? What have you concluded after 22 years of interviewing people about truth? What's the truth? You must be able to narrow it down. Well, yeah, that's it. And then when I point out that I point out to these guys that it's really just about talking. It's what's going on is, you exist. Do I exist? Yes, you exist. Do I exist? Yes, you exist. Do I exist? But it's just interesting, right? The things that they're saying, they find interesting to the mind. So, but they they're not. Maya has them believing that they're going to some sort of conclusion, and they're revealing something about reality, and then it's not. And the fact that it takes 22 years, and that there's no end to science and mathematics, they can't see it. They just can't see it, because it's reinforcing their ego that they know they exist while they're blah blah blahing. That's it. It's that simple, but it's that hard for them to accept. They just can't accept it. That the real reason that they're doing all of this investigating and talking and theories and all these interviews is just because they know they exist while they're freaking talking to someone. They can't accept it. In a way, my partner keeps saying, Roy, you've got to realize that you're dealing with children, right? Like, I'm talking about, like, Bernardo Kastrup. He's a child. They're really, if they don't know of the stillness and the silence, and they can't get to the thought-free state for more than a few seconds, they're literally at the child level when it comes to spiritual advancement. And they don't want to learn to not learn. They don't want to engage in thought-free state or meditation. So it's useless. It's useless trying to talk to them. Well, it makes perfect sense, but if you don't want to see it, then you won't see it. None are so blind as those who refuse to see. We need to kill science by 1,000 cuts of Occam's razor. I think I'm mixing metaphors there, but it works. 1,000 cuts of Occam's razor. If you can hear a strange sound in the background, that's my cat snoring. Yeah, see that, and I think that's why he doesn't understand the stillness is because he's done it artificially. So yeah, I took salvia, and I realized, that uh, something did very fundamental about reality. But I had a decade of meditation practice under my belt, right? So I got there naturally, and that just reinforced what I was experiencing, what I was learning through my meditation. So yeah, you can't just artificially get there and come to some sort of epiphany and then just say, well, that's it, right? Yeah, it's like taking steroids. See, when you're done taking the steroids, you just shrink back. You got to do it naturally, at least most of it naturally, and then you always hang on to it. You'll always have it. Yeah, I'm not against taking certain types of drugs natural in order to break through the ego. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. But it does help to just go, okay, well, to really break the ego's grasp and to put a foot in the door, I guess. No, it's yeah, my cat snoring right there. Well, the knowledge gained from experience is more powerful than the knowledge gained by reading a book or learning something in school. And boy, salvia is quite an experience. Complete ego negation. You lose all sense of identity, and the realm that you're in, that experience is just as real as this. Like literally, when you're in it, it's just as real. And then when you remember, you think when there's waves and you come in and come out and you remember this existence. And when you do remember this existence, when you're in that one, you wonder sometimes if I ever am going to come back to this one. And then you also question if this one was actually the illusion and that one's the real one. But what I think is happening with salvia is that it tweaks the nervous system so that we can directly experience the wave function, which is kind of like the information wave hitting the back of a screen that tells the pixels how to flash on and off. So I believe with salvia, we're I was experiencing basically the information wave function that's hitting the back. I'm going to use these a lot of this three-dimensional realm that tells the subatomic particles how to pop in and out of existence rather than on and off. So this is why so many of experiences they describe of it's like being folded up on a paper and rolled up, like, and also waves, right? So everything arises in at once in waves. But your name here goes bye-bye. Yeah. Well, I mean, it just some sort of change, right? You need to take a different perspective. Something it helps maybe to have something go a little bit off in here. But the work has to be done. You've got to actually learn to shift your awareness, find the awareness first, and then learn to shift it. Learn to pay attention to the space between thoughts. That's it, basically. Pay as much attention to the space between thoughts as you do to the thoughts. Just be aware of all of it. Be aware of the what's aware of it. Yeah, lucid dreams are wild, for sure. Yeah, there's no Roy anymore, right? So it's just like being lucid in a dream. It's exactly the same thing, only one level higher or deeper or whatever you want to say. You just know that when you're in a dream, you're having a lucid dream, you just know that what the dream character is experiencing isn't real. And it's the same for this. I can say I, and I still do. I still say I, dot, 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 whether I'm praising myself or calling myself stupid for not knowing how to put my freaking backhoe on my tractor or whatever. I still use the word I, but I use it in reference like a character, like someone who's playing a video game would say, I'm going to go and do this. Everyone knows they're not going to get up and go do that in the video game. So I I know that there's the real I is singular and it's the same awareness that's looking through your eyes, same awareness that's looking through everyone's eyes. through other through each other's eyes. Yeah. And the karmic residue, the karmic cycles that Roy used to struggle against are gone. So that changes. Like everyone knows there's something that they need to stop doing, right? Everyone has at least one thing That's their big karmic road stop that's blocking them from awakening. And that has to be fixed. Either you stop thinking about it by not doing it in, yeah, there's some sort of middle ground that happens, and you just stop doing it, and it happens naturally. It's not the ego that stops. It's never the ego that stops things. It's always the higher self. But it has to be effortless, and it has to eventually no longer arise. That temptation has to no longer arise, and then it's conquered. It's not like it keeps coming up and you keep pushing it back. Eventually, whatever that thing is that you know you need to stop doing, it somehow you just adhere to the practice and it takes care of itself. And then everything's effortless. So pre-awakening, karmic struggles, post-awakening, no more karmic struggles. I don't consider Alan Watts to be enlightened at all. He was just very, very knowledgeable and a very, very good speaker with a lot of charisma. I never looked at Alan Watts as an enlightened being or a spiritual teacher. Well, I guess he was a spiritual teacher, but he certainly wasn't awakened or enlightened. I don't know what even awakened means anymore because people use it like consciousness, right? Same with enlightenment, I guess. We don't even know what it means anymore. But yeah, there's a difference between being enlightened and being a good speaker and knowing a lot of stuff. Uh, Roy not talk good sometimes, right? not eloquent like Alan Watts at all. But I would venture to say that probably more awakened, more whatever that means when we're talking about this shit. Yeah, some of this stuff you can really know a lot of stuff and really be quite spiritually advanced, but there's still stuff that's hanging on, right? So don't get too caught up on who's saying it. Is it true? Do you find it to be true in your life? Then just follow that and find it for yourself. When you find your own truth, it doesn't matter who's screwing it up. If there's a person there, they're most likely going to screw it up. The odd person comes around like a Ramana Maharshi or a Jesus Christ or a Buddha, and they're the package deal, but boy, they're few and far between, right? I don't do guided meditations. I don't do that. In the death state, no one's going to be there trying to, showing you the path. You're all on your own. You're always all on your own. Speaking of girls, my girl's coming back, and we've only got a couple more days together before she goes back home. So, relatively speaking, that's pretty important. So, I'm going to sign off for today, but I plan on making this every weekend, Saturday and or Sunday. So, I'll see you all next Saturday and or Sunday. Thanks for dropping by. It means a lot to have people here while I'm doing this. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.